Right now, Benjamin Netanyahu has not been seen in public for days. His government has stopped posting video, no camera, no audio, just text statements. The last verified footage of the Israeli Prime Minister shows him visiting the site of an Iranian missile strike. According to the internet's self-appointed detectives, that was his final public sighting. And it gets worse. A clip from his first press conference since the war began appears to show him with 6 fingers on one hand. A screenshot from the official Israeli Prime Minister's account apparently confirmed his death before being deleted. And the United States Treasury Secretary was pulled out of a live television interview, rushed to the White House Situation Room, and returned nearly 2 hours later visibly shaken, stammering and making unprompted remarks. We need to talk about what is real here, what is fabricated, and what this reveals about Netanyahu's current status. Before we continue, thanks a lot for tuning in. Your support is what keeps this show going, and I appreciate you watching. As always, please make sure to subscribe and like the video so I can keep bringing you these critical updates. Now, between roughly March 7th and March 10th, Netanyahu dropped off camera. Before that window, he had been posting between 1 and 3 video addresses every single day on his personal channels. That is his wartime pattern. 1 day without video during an active missile war would be unusual. 2 days would be notable. He went dark for nearly 4. Just text statements attributed to his office. On March 10th, Iran's Tasnim news agency ran an article arguing that Netanyahu was either gravely wounded or dead. Tasnim is not a fringe blog. The United States Treasury has formally designated it as linked to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. When Tasnim publishes, it carries the weight of the Iranian military establishment. The article pointed to the video silence, but it did not stop there. Hebrew language media had reported on March 8th that the security perimeter around Netanyahu's residence had been significantly expanded, with counter-drone defenses deployed specifically against suicide UAVs. Israeli media reported that a planned visit by Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff was postponed or canceled, but there was no solid immediate confirmation from both governments, and Witkoff later said a trip could still happen next week. There was public reporting that Macron spoke with Netanyahu, but there is not enough solid evidence to use that is proof of any cover-up or staged contact. Tasnim also cited former United States intelligence officer Scott Ritter, sourced through Russian state media, claiming Iran had struck Netanyahu's hideout and killed his brother Ido. No evidence was offered. Tasnim itself acknowledged the claims were unconfirmed. That disclaimer did not slow anything down. The article was shared hundreds of thousands of times within hours. Now here is what makes this more complicated. This was not the first time the IRGC had targeted Netanyahu directly in its public messaging. On March 2nd, the third day of the war, the IRGC released a statement through Iranian state television claiming that during the 10th wave of retaliatory strikes, the K-bar Shaken ballistic missiles had hit Netanyahu's office in Tel Aviv and the headquarters of Israeli Air Force Commander Tomer Bar. The IRGC described Netanyahu's fate as being, and this is their exact phrase, in a cloud of uncertainty. That phrase is going to matter later. For context, this war began on February 28th when the United States and Israel launched coordinated strikes on Iran, killing Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei on day 1. Iran has been firing missiles at Israel ever since, 300 missiles in 14 days. Close to half carried cluster submunitions. 9 people were killed in Beit Shemesh on March 1st. The IRGC's claim about hitting Netanyahu's office was part of this retaliation. Netanyahu's office dismissed it as fake news. The Times of Israel confirmed 0 missile impacts near the Prime Minister's office. Xinhua reported that residents in the area saw no damage whatsoever. No satellite imagery was produced by Iran, no video, no independent verification. The Israeli Prime Minister's office confirmed that Netanyahu had met with the defense minister, the chief of staff, and the Mossad director in Tel Aviv on March 1st, 1 day before the IRGC claimed to have leveled his building. And in the same statement where they claimed to have struck Netanyahu's office, the IRGC also announced they had shot down 3 American fighter jets over Kuwait. The Pentagon confirmed those 3 aircraft were actually downed by Kuwaiti-friendly fire during an Iranian barrage. The IRGC was lying about the jets. Their credibility on the Netanyahu claim is equally non-existent. But it did not matter. The assertion that Iran had struck Netanyahu's bunker became the seed. Within hours, social media accounts declared he had been assassinated. Others said he had fled to Germany based on flight tracking data showing Israel's government aircraft parked in Berlin. German officials confirmed the plane was there. Netanyahu was not on it. Posts claimed Mossad director David Barnea had been killed in a separate strike on Mossad headquarters, that his brother Ido was dead, that National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir had been targeted at his home. None of it was verified. Ben-Gvir posted a TikTok proving he was alive. Most people assume these rumors spread organically, just the chaos of war and panicked social media. In reality, every one of these threads traces back to a single IRGC press release. amplified by an outlet the U.S. Treasury has formally designated as a Guard Corps asset. This was not grassroots speculation. This was manufactured narrative seeded into an information environment already primed for panic. Stay with me, because the next two pieces of evidence are where the conspiracy crosses from Iranian state media into the Western internet, and the mechanics of how that happened are more revealing than the rumors themselves. On March 12th, a screenshot began circulating on X that appeared to show a post from the official Israeli Prime Minister's account. The post either acknowledged or failed to deny Netanyahu's death. The claim was that it had been posted and then rapidly deleted. Accounts with enormous followings declared it was over. Netanyahu was confirmed dead. The Israeli government had accidentally admitted it before scrubbing the evidence. The screenshot was a forgery. PolitiFact and other fact-checkers found no evidence the rumor material proved Netanyahu was dead, and the press conference video itself does not show AI generation. The only recent item on the Israeli PM's feed was a routine National Security Council announcement. Grok stated directly that the screenshot was fake and that no deletion had occurred. In wartime, when official channels go quiet for hours at a time, a convincing fabrication fills the vacuum before anyone can respond. By the time 3 separate fact-checking organizations published their findings, the forged image had already been shared across every major platform. The deletion claim made it unfalsifiable to a casual viewer. You cannot prove something was never posted when the accusation is that it was posted and removed. This is a known technique in information warfare. You do not forge something implausible. You forge something that confirms what people already suspect. The audience had been primed for days by the IRGC bunker claim, the Tasnim article, and the video silence. The screenshot did not create the belief. It validated it. Now the Besant footage. This one is real, and it is the single most visually striking moment of the entire conspiracy. On Thursday, March 13th, United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was sitting for a live interview with Wilfred Frost of Sky News when a female aide cut in off camera. "The president wants you right away." Bessent's microphone was pulled. He left the shot at 10:22 in the morning. The aide said he would be 10 minutes. He returned at 12:07 in the afternoon. 107 minutes later. When Frost asked how the president was, Bessent stammered. The president is in great spirits. The Iranian mission is proceeding well ahead of schedule." Then, unprompted, he volunteered something personal. He said he is a teenager considering military service, and that he would trust his child's life in the hands of the current military leadership. Watch the clip. It is publicly available. His body language before the interruption is relaxed and confident. After the Situation Room, his hands are tense. His voice catches. The stammer is audible. One commentator wrote that whatever Bessent was told in that room had him legitimately scared, and that the remark about his teenager read as a man reassuring himself, not the public. Another noted the dead stiffness in his body and hands. Social media fused this instantly with the Netanyahu thread. Neither Netanyahu nor Ben-Gvir had been seen in public for days. Bessent looked shaken. The conclusion was immediate. He had been told Netanyahu was dead. The actual content of the interview after his return tells a completely different story. Bessent spent the remainder discussing the Strait of Hormuz, Iran's effective closure of the waterway. 16 vessels struck since the war began. Oil back above $100 a barrel after nearing $120 earlier in the week. The possibility of a United States Navy escort for commercial tankers. He confirmed the war had cost the U.S. approximately $11 billion. He also stated he did not believe Iran had mined the strait, because Iranian and Chinese flagged tankers were still passing through, which means the closure is selective, not total. That distinction matters enormously. A selective closure targeting Western and Israeli-linked shipping while permitting Allied traffic is a calculated economic weapon, not a military blockade. The Situation Room meeting was about the most significant energy choke point on the planet, through which roughly 20% of all global oil exports flow, not about the status of an Allied head of state. But by then, context did not matter. The image of a shaken Treasury Secretary was already welded to a narrative 4 days in the making. The final piece? The 6 fingers. On March 12th, Netanyahu held his first press conference since the war began, broadcast live by the Israeli Government Press Office, GPO logo on screen. He said Iran is no longer the same Iran. He said Israeli strikes had killed senior nuclear scientists and devastated the IRGC and Basij. He called Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, a puppet of the Guard Corps who cannot show his face in public. Then someone screenshotted a single frame. In the still captured mid-gesture, Netanyahu's right hand appeared to show 6 fingers. The image detonated across X, Instagram, Telegram, and Blue Sky simultaneously. AI image generators are infamous for producing distorted or extra fingers. It is one of the most widely known tells of synthetic media. The reasoning was immediate. 6 fingers means artificial intelligence generated the video. A generated video means Netanyahu is dead, and the Israeli government is using a deep fake to hide it. Separately, Israel itself circulated AI-generated Persian language Netanyahu messaging, which likely made audiences even more suspicious of real footage and audio online. In that environment, even verified footage starts to look suspicious. PolitiFact examined the video frame by frame and rated the claim pants on fire. Snopes confirmed the footage was authentic. The anomaly was a shadow caused by a crease in Netanyahu's palm during a pointing gesture, visible in one still and absent in every frame before and after. The full unedited recording was published by the government press office on YouTube. Here is what actually happened. Netanyahu went on camera specifically to prove he was alive. Social media took that footage and turned it into evidence that he was dead. The proof of life became the conspiracy itself. That is not a failure of fact-checking. That is information warfare functioning exactly as intended. The goal was never to convince everyone that Netanyahu is dead. The goal was to make sure that no one fully trusts the proof that he is alive. That is the operational logic. Not deception, doubt. Share this to every person following this war. And here is the part that nobody is confronting. The IRGC spent 2 weeks telling the world that Netanyahu's fate was in a cloud of uncertainty. That was their phrase, a cloud of uncertainty. As of today, Netanyahu has been on camera. He has held a press conference. He has visited missile strike sites. He has appeared alongside Finance Minister Smotrich on camera from Jerusalem. His fate is not uncertain. It is documented. The person whose fate actually remains in a cloud of uncertainty is Mojtaba Khamenei, Iran's newly elected supreme leader, chosen on March 8th to replace his father by the Assembly of Experts, reportedly wounded in the opening strikes that killed Ali Khamenei on February 28th. He has not appeared publicly since being chosen as supreme leader on March 8th. He has not been heard speaking. He has not been photographed. Iranian state media read out a statement attributed to him on Thursday, March 12th, without releasing contemporary video of him. Read out. Not filmed, not broadcast, not shown. When Trump was asked directly about his status, the answer was chilling. He said he thinks Khamenei's son is damaged, but probably alive in some form. Probably alive in some form. That is not reassurance. That is a clinical assessment of a leader no one has seen in 14 days. The IRGC accused Israel of concealing the death of its prime minister. The IRGC has not produced its own supreme leader in 2 weeks. The conspiracy they manufactured about Tel Aviv is the reality they are living in Tehran. And the question that should concern every analyst watching this war is not whether Benjamin Netanyahu is dead. It is whether Mojtaba Khamenei can lead a country through a conflict he has not been seen surviving. Thanks a lot for watching. I really appreciate your support. Join the discussion in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts. Who do you think is winning the war? Do you think the war is getting out of hand? Let me know. Please subscribe and like the video if you want to stay updated. And click the video on the screen to see another. I'll see you soon.